Just off a rutted dirt road, a country inn overlooks the picturesque rushing river. Narrowing to the west, the dirt road widens as it heads eastward. Cedric perches upon the Swarthy Hog Inn sign. The brisk river rushes swiftly by the quaint country inn. An old, uninteresting barn is located behind the country inn. A large haystack dominates the area in front of the barn. This is a side entrance of the quaint country inn. Weary travelers can enter through the inn's front door.
Ooh, I'll wait for you out here. I don't like that place.
The country inn's tavern looks a bit shabby and run down. At the bar, Graham notices three men. Graham notices three rough-looking men huddled over the bar in serious conversation. Since they're talking in such low tones, Graham can't quite hear what they're saying. A flea-bitten old dog lies asleep in the corner. An old grandfather gnome sits contentedly on an old stump and smokes a large pipe while watching his grandson at play. Sitting on a stool in front of his house, a young gnome happily plays with an exquisite marionette. Utilizing fallen logs, a gnome has built a little forest home. The entrance to the small house is through a crudely constructed door. A small shuttered window fronts the gnome's house. Impatiently, Cedric watches Graham from the gnome's roof. In the distance to the north, Graham can see a lovely willow tree surrounded by a small pond.
Excuse me, sir. Oh, I'm terribly sorry to bother you. I was just noticing your son's marionette. It's very interesting. Where did you get it?
It's grandson, not son, and I made it for him. Why do you care?
I just wanted to comment on its artistry. It's very well done. I don't suppose it could be bought.
If it could, the price would be very steep. I reckon you couldn't afford it. Now, leave me and my grandson be.
Graham attempts to speak to the young gnome, but the boy seems to be very shy and doesn't answer.
I ain't in the mood to gab right now. Go find someone else to talk to. I don't like strangers trespassing in my house.
Cedric seems to be thinking big thoughts right now, perhaps planning their next move, and so is not in a talkative mood.
I don't take charity, young man. I got everything I need.
The young gnome is too bashful to respond. A graceful weeping willow tree grows beside a small pond created from her tears. In her branch-like arms she clutches a beautiful harp as a child would a cherished toy. A lovely little pond surrounds the base of a beautiful weeping willow tree. To the north, Graham can see the gnarly edge of a deep, dark forest.
Miss Willow?
Yes?
You can talk?
Why, of course I can. What did you expect?
Well, I've never seen a talking tree before. What's wrong?
Everything's wrong, can't you tell? I'm not really a tree. I'm really a princess. You see, my fiancé and I were walking through this wood when a nasty old witch came along and was instantly charmed by my handsome prince. When he naturally refused her advances, she jealously banished him to a faraway land and turned me into a tree. Then she stole my heart.
Stole your heart?
Yes, she turned my heart to gold and took it away with her. The only way I can become human again is to have my heart brought back. Now, all I have to cheer me up is my harp. It's quite magical, you know. It plays the sweetest music you've ever heard. Now please, leave me alone in my sorrow. Please, don't bother me anymore. Let me weep in peace. Leave my harp alone. It's mine.
What's wrong, Graham?
That's salt water. Ugh.
Oh, what a sad song she plays. Let's try to cheer her up, Graham.
How will I find this heart of mine, taken from me for some time? Here I stand near my pool of tears. Here I'll stay throughout the years.
Graham feels the eyes of many creatures upon him as he follows a meandering path through the thick wood. Upon a fallen log sits a dashing young prince who looks very sad and confused. What a wonderful bluebird! It could almost make Graham happy again if it wasn't for his family. Cedric waits for Graham in a nearby tree. The bluebird is too busy taking a bath to answer Graham.
Let's say hello to the young prince, Graham. He looks like he could use a good cheering up.
Graham could never catch the bluebird. Despite his own troubles, Graham feels sorry for the young man who obviously has troubles of his own.
Excuse me, young man. Sorry to bother you, but I couldn't help but notice you sitting there on that log. I was wondering if there was anything wrong.
Why, yes. As a matter of fact, there is. I've been searching everywhere for my fiancée. She's a beautiful princess with long golden tresses, fetching blue eyes, and smooth creamy skin. Have you seen her anywhere about?
No, sorry, I haven't seen anyone like that.
That's what I figured. No one has seen her. I bet that a witch who lives in the dark forest had something to do with her disappearance.
I'll keep an eye out for her. If I see her, I'll let her know you're looking for her.
I would appreciate that. Well, I guess I'd better get back to looking for her. I'm not ever going to find her just sitting around here. Thanks for your concern.
The wide dirt path ends at a crude warning sign placed before an ominous-looking forest. Beyond the sign, the path narrows to nothing more than a root and snarled trail. Beyond the warning sign, the gnarled trees seem to close in, entangling and confusing all who dare enter here. An old hollow log lies in a small clearing before the gloomy forest. Cedric perches nervously on a tree limb at the edge of a gloomy forest. The sign seems self-explanatory enough. Enter at your own risk.
Look at this sign, Graham. You'd better heed it. There's an old witch who lives in that forest.
The old log doesn't look interesting enough to bother with.
Back to the east is house. Ooh, keep your eye on the gypsies, Graham. I don't trust them.
A gypsy wagon is encamped here at the edge of the woods. On the side of the wagon, the words "Fortune Teller" have been painted. A large ox, tied to the gypsy's wagon, peacefully munches on grass. A steaming pot of stew bubbles over a small campfire near the gypsy wagon. Within the gypsy encampment, Graham notices a tall, burly man who keeps a suspicious eye on him and Cedric. Graham finds the huge beast completely uninteresting. Obviously, the man wouldn't tolerate Graham taking his supper. The burly man keeps a watchful eye on Graham and Cedric.
It will cost you 1 gold coin to see Madamushka.
The dark gypsy man bars Graham's entry into the fortune teller's wagon without proper payment.
That is not a gold coin.
A colony of large ants parade up and down a huge anthill built amid some scrubby bushes. Cedric perches safely on a scrubby bush above the anthill and watches the activity below. A gypsy wagon can be seen in the distance to the north.
Ooh, is that a new dance, Graham? The Boogaloo! Ooh, watch out for the bear, Graham!
A large bear seems to be very interested in the honey inside the old tree. A swarm of bees buzz around a hole in a rotted old tree. Graham notices a large stick lying on the ground near the old tree. Not being much of a honey eater, Cedric shows little interest in the beehive. Graham notices a huge anthill in the distance to the north. The swift river turns sharply to the south here.
I am Queen Beatrice, kind sir. I wish to thank you ever so much for saving our hive from the claws of that horrible bear. In return, I offer you a luscious honeycomb from our hive. Please feel free to retrieve one. I promise my bees won't harm you. It may come in handy on your travels.
It appears the bees have a hive inside the hole of the old dead tree. Graham reaches a hand into the beehive and retrieves a very sticky chunk of honeycomb. Wrapping it in a protective piece of cloth, he then pockets it. Graham has already taken a honeycomb. It wouldn't be wise to antagonize the now friendly bees. Graham bends down and picks up the large stick from the ground. It appears to be an average stick of wood. Honey drips at the edges of the honeycomb chunk. A bully of a dog terrorizes the poor ants as he playfully digs at their large anthill. A mangy old dog digs playfully at the huge anthill while the poor ants scurry about frantically. The dog is more interested in the anthill than in Graham. The dog doesn't seem to be a friendly sort at all.
Ooh, Graham, that dog looks mean. Ooh, Graham, that dog looks mean.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm King Antony the Great. May I ask who you are?
Why, certainly. I'm King Graham of Daventry, and this is my friend Cedric. We're seeking a way to cross the great mountains to the ocean on the other side.
That is a very perilous undertaking. I wish you would reconsider. But if you shall not, in return for rescuing our home from that flea-bitten cur, I wish to offer you our help, if perchance you may ever need it.
Thank you very much, King Antony. Cedric and I appreciate your kind offer. We look forward to meeting you again.
The ants are too busy to engage in conversation with Graham.